Cool. I'm gonna go again, but I want like a teensy tiny break. Just watched the video of you yesterday. How's it going? Wait, what video did you watch? Most insane Pokemon speedrun just happened. Orders. Oh, that's my 100% run. All right, so this is a video that PulseEffects made about a year ago. The subject of the video is my 100% speedrun of Legends Arceus that I did. So we're gonna watch it. Here we go.
Someone was finally crazy enough to do a 100% speedrun of Pokemon Legends Arceus, an achievement that goes beyond the boundaries of sanity for the sake of pure glory. Because the requirements for this speedrun are ridiculous. But what exactly are the ridiculous?
Okay, showing that doesn't make it seem ridiculous. Like this is just the number of Pokemon that are in the game. If you want to, this framing makes it seem like Hatchimal is ridiculous. What are you trying to say?
What exactly are the ridiculous requirements for this speedrun, you might ask? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be covering the wild world of Pokemon Legends Arceus for you to find out. Pokemon Legends Arceus starts off by being isekai'd into the past by none other than Arceus, who steals your iPhone to communicate with you.
God, I need some help. Can you please bring me my iPhone back?
Once your iPhone is stolen and replaced with the Arse phone, you'll get teleported in front of the region's professor.
He got so much shit for the Arse phone thing. People inherently don't like being corrected, I think. But I think the YouTube algorithm, like, it kind of amplifies it because the more comments you're getting, the more engagement that is, and the more people that are in the comments correcting him on Arse phone just had probably nothing but a positive impact.
Who wants you to catch the starter Pokemon that were let loose nearby,
followed by a
trip to Jubilee Village, which is the hub for pretty much everything you need to do in the game. You'll even meet ancestors of familiar faces from other Sinnoh region games, get your starter Pokemon, set off to defeat evil, catch a ton of Pokemon, and eventually confront God. But in order to do all this, you'll need to get past the star system. By earning enough points in each area, you'll unlock stars, which give you access to even more areas. And in order to earn points, you need to do research tasks that every Pokemon has listed in your Pokedex. Some examples of these tasks are evolving, catching, feeding, or using moves on a Pokemon. Enough of these tasks would move the story forward to where eventually you'll take on noble Pokemon, which are giant Pokemon that normally protect the land, but are in a frenzied state that can only be cured by throwing beanbags at them.
Yeah, this looks like one of my runs.
With these bosses defeated, you'll learn new locations with new Pokemon to get tasked for, until eventually the world around you changes to this hellish landscape, where you have to find Azelf, Uxie, and Mesprit to get this.
All right, I'm drawing the line at Uxie. Like, you know, the bit of, if you're gonna call it Arceus, call it the Arse phone. That's Mesprit. Oh, you think it's on purpose? Does it have to be on purpose? Surely, right?
Item called the Red Chain. This red chain is tied to the Pokemon gods of time
100%.
and space, Palkia and Dialga. With how the story progresses, you'll be able to catch one and battle the other with beanbags, eventually catching the second with an older style Cherish Ball. And to this point where
that's an Origin Ball. Did you not even fucking read
the any percent speedrun will end? But there's so much more content
for sure,
than that
that's fair.
For not only a catch-em-all speedrun, but a 100% speedrun. And speaking of content, you should consider subscribing to the channel for more Pokemon speedrunning content.
Yeah, subscribe to my channel if you're watching on YouTube, either the live stream right now or the video upload right now.
And while you're at it, check out my recent video on how speedrunners beat Pokemon Diamond and Pearl in under 1 hour. By catching every single Pokemon in the game, with the exception of a few legendary Pokemon that sometimes require owning other Nintendo Switch Pokemon games, you can eventually confront God, but not before an epic battle with the main antagonist, Volo, who may or may not be Cynthia's ancestor. It's not quite clear, but his theme and team have quite a few similarities to hers. But the battle's not over just yet, because surprise, it's Giratina time, who you have to battle immediately.
So, well, just right here, like nothing interesting, but for those that haven't seen a Legends Arceus speedrun that goes to Volo, you owe yourself the opportunity to watch us fight Volo.
It's not quite clear, but his theme,
because like instead of a Gastrodon, you know, you would think you have to have like some crazy stacked team. You beat this entire section of the Volo fight with one Gallade, one singular Gallade.
Team have quite a few similarities to hers, but the battle's not over just yet, because surprise, it's Giratina time, who you have to battle immediately after Volo, without healing. But surprise again, there's one more phase to Giratina, meaning you have to take on Volo, Giratina regular form, and Giratina origin form.
You want to see it? I mean, the Catchmore runs on YouTube and speedrun.com. I did a Volo exhibition for my AGDQ run, which he's actually going to mention here in a minute. Yeah, there's a lot of places to see it.
One after another. And then you can finally confront God in a fight that's so hard.
Hey, that's not me. I didn't get hit. I don't get hit in Arceus anymore. Who the fuck is this?
That people refer to this game as the Dark Souls of Pokemon games. But even with everything I just explained, that only covers the tip of the iceberg for a 100% Legends Arceus speedrun. But before I cover the...
Is it possible to get all the Pokemon before Volo? Not by yourself, because Volo gatekeeps the genies and Giratina.
Rest of the requirements, let me introduce you to the madman that would defy all logic for the pure glory of beating
let's see what this jackass looks like.
A Legends Arceus 100%
that's me.
speedrun.
Hello. My name is halqery, and this is Pokemon Legends Arceus. It was released almost a year ago.
On January 14th, 2023, halqery would be the first person to showcase Pokemon Legends Arceus on the biggest speedrunning stage of them all, Games Done Quick.
I did
and
that.
With an amazing showcase, halqery knew he'd have hundreds of fresh eyes on his Arceus speedruns.
You can see in the background, this is where my desk is right now. This was in this room. My desk is currently situated. I don't know if you guys can even see this, but it's like, it was situated over here.
A time to go beyond the bounds of sanity? Now would be the time to 100% the game in a speedrun. To reach 100% completion in Pokemon Legends Arceus, you need to catch every Pokemon, obtain all crafting recipes, beat all the quests, purchase every bag slot, confront God, and finally perfect the Pokedex.
There's a couple more things that I did that he didn't mention. We also were required to do 50 wins in the Eternal Battle Reverie, and probably the biggest omission from this video was the 240 Paths of Solitude I had to do. Every unique Pokemon has its, or every Pokemon species has its own challenge in the Path of Solitude. And for completing it, they get a mark on their Pokedex entry.
Pokemon, obtain all crafting recipes, beat all the quests, purchase every bag slot, confront God, and finally perfect
I also bought every outfit.
Pokedex. Crafting recipes.
You'll never hear him talk about how I bought every fucking outfit this game has to offer.
And completing quests like the infamous Buizel size quest.
Yeah! Okay, that was actually really easy for me. I don't know why. I got it like so easily. There's my winner. Like, I remember when I was starting to run the game, I had people coming in my chat talking about how hard this quest was, but I got it within like my first like 5 Weasels. I got really lucky.
Isn't actually that much of a problem for speedrunner, because none of these even come close to the biggest problem that lies within 100%ing Legends Arceus, and that problem is the Pokedex research task. Pokedex research tasks require you to do a stupid amount of things for these lovable pocket monsters. There are a total of 3 stages of Pokedex entries you'll go through when trying to 100% this game. The Pokedex completion stage for when you catch every Pokemon for the first time, the level 10 Pokedex stage, which earns you the shiny charm to get increased odds, and finally, the perfect Pokedex stage, which earns you nothing.
You know I expect great things of you. Carry on the good fight out there. All right? Wait, one second. It's gotta be a mistake, right? It's gotta be just a mix-up.
To cover every task in the Legends Arceus Pokedex, you'll have to earn research points by catching, beating, fainting, evolving, throwing stuff at Pokemon, catching different sizes, and what I consider to be the worst of them all, using the same move over and over again with a single Pokemon.
Yeah, so whenever I was routing or like trying to figure out how I was going to do 100%, you know, I tried to be kind of tactical with it because I'm like, okay, Ursaring needs to use Bulldoze and Magnemite needs to die to ground type moves. There's some synergy there, and I tried to, you know, kind of play around that, but you run out of that stuff very quickly. Like, there are far less things that need to die to a certain type of move than there are moves that need to be used. Like, it is not even close. Like, you will get done with that so quickly, so it's not even like, if I were to do it again, I wouldn't even worry about it. because like I'll just kind of casually do all that like while I'm doing all those other moves.
There are a total of 7,457 research tasks, with 687 of those that require you to use a move multiple times. And over 166 of those tasks require you to use a strong or agile style move. Strong and agile styles are battle mechanics introduced in Legends Arceus. Agile style will give you more turns in exchange for a less powerful move, while strong style gives a more powerful move in exchange for giving the opponent more turns. Each time you use one of these styles, you're greeted with the following sound and animation. Strong style gives
Okay, so at the bottom here, you can see how many research points I have. I had this screenshotted from Ranger, the program I use for calculating anything in the dex. Shout out to Ranger. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put Ranger in the description. I'll put it in the chat here as well. Corvame, the developer of Ranger, actually went out of her way to fulfill my request of... She fulfilled a couple requests for me. One, I asked for Ranger to support if you complete a Pokedex entry, it will say perfected one entry, and it'll say, you know, because normally it just says completed for getting rank 10. And then also she added a filter for showing completed tasks, or hiding them rather. So I could like, it just saved so much scrolling for me, and I really appreciate her for that. So shout out to Corvame.
more powerful move in exchange for giving the opponent more turns.
Oh, and also it was very important to keep this at the bottom, the total research points, because the game caps out. The game will stop showing you at 99999. That's it. We maxed out the points. Hooray, you were here. You were here. So anything after that was my responsibility to display.
Turns. Each time you use one of these styles, you're greeted with the following sound and animation. While it's quite cool at first, it gets very annoying over time. And the worst part about this is that there are a total of 33 Pokemon that require you to use these battle styles up.
Okay, and one thing I noticed when I watched this for the first time, and I'm remembering now, where is the most egregious example? Garchomp. Garchomp needs to use, if you want to open up Ranger, the link I just put in the chat room, type Garchomp in PLA research, it needs 100 strong style moves. It is by far the most ridiculous example.
To 70 times. This meant that halqery had to see this same stupid animation 2,310 times. But that doesn't make these research tasks any less tedious. But luckily for Halk, he came in with a good mindset for this and had the solid strategy of spamming Lepa berries for any PP management issues he came across along the way. In almost all Legends Arceus speedruns, you'll notice speedrunners constantly getting on and off their Weird Air Ride Pokemon. This is in order to mine ore, shake trees, or grab ground items to help stun Pokemon. Sometimes there are even tasks involving Pokemon that spawn in these shaking trees or ores in the ground, like the infamous Apom or Cherubi shaking tree task. But the worst ever...
Apom was the worst. For those that don't know, this was my very first time ever doing 100%. The video this is being covered, because right now it's showing Catch 'em All, but this is my very first time ever perfecting the decks and doing all these things. So that's part of the reason why I could stomach doing a whole speedrun of this, because it was new content for me, you know, personally. So with that being said, I didn't get to Apom until very, very late in the run, like at least a week or two in. Then I'm like, all right, where's the Apom trees? You know, because I have to see this fucker jump out of trees a million times. And when I saw there's only 2 trees in the entirety of Cobalt Coastlands, in the entirety of the game, where Apom can jump out of, I was so mad at myself for not doing that earlier. I'm like, this has definitely shaken before. Because then I remember it took forever. I had to like go in and out of the area because there was nothing really else I had to do there. I just chose Apom. I just chose to start Apom at a very unfortunate time.
Spawn award goes to Distortion spawns. Once you've cleared the noble Pokemon for the first time, an invisible timer that stops every time you enter a battle or cutscene will count down to when a Distortion shows up.
That's not true. You don't have to beat the noble to get a Distortion.
Distortion spawn rare Pokemon, Distortion exclusive Pokemon, and rare items. The only problem is that the timer for when a Distortion spawns is random between 5, 10, 15, 25, or 40 minutes of waiting if you're unlucky. This timer will reset to 0 if you enter sub areas, or if you change the time to day, evening, or night. It's so finicky that even weather conditions such as thunderstorms or droughts will reset the timer.
And snowstorms.
Too. But
So just to further elaborate on that, because that's not wrong, but it's missing context. So let's say the game has decided you are getting a 10-minute distortion and the time's progressing, 5 minutes, passes, nothing happens. If like by 8 minutes, a thunderstorm, snowstorm, or a drought happens and you don't stall it out with battles and wait for it to go away, if that is active when your distortion timer hits 10 minutes, which as I just said was the hypothetical assigned distortion time, the timer will reset, the distortion will not spawn, do not pass go, do not collect $200, and you will have literally no idea. It was important to be aware of all the intervals that I was approaching and, just be cognizant of the weather as well. Luckily, the weather respawns or changes in intervals as well, so it's not like I was ever going to get jump scared at like 9:59 or something. But yeah, there's a lot to it.
at the very least, you're guaranteed 3 rare spawns when a distortion shows up, so it's not the most tedious thing unless you're really unlucky. The actual most tedious task of them all, according to halqery, goes towards catching sleeping Pokemon. While there are exploits to getting this to happen faster, halqery was
I was so proud of this camera angle, dude.
both fortunate and unfortunate enough to be greeted with this face as he waited for them to sleep.
It's just looking at me with those deep eyes. It's looking directly into my soul. I don't like it. Yeah, just go to sleep like literally right now. Where are we going now, Vulpix?
But eventually, he saw the light at the end of the tunnel, on top of Mount Coronet, where he beat Volo and Giratina
Oh, he's showing it.
with 1 Pokemon.
Yeah, he's showing the Galliard fight. Yeah, it's silly.
I had catch-em-all runs that are only
Oh, sorry. I looked at the chat box on the video and thought that was somebody asking, so I was like getting ready to answer, but I'll answer it anyway. Somebody in the video asked how many shinies I got. I got 36 shinies, and I ended up giving them all away to viewers because I don't really collect shinies. The coolest ones we got were a shiny Alpha Spiritomb, shiny Alpha Zoroark, shiny Rotom. But yeah, I got a shiny Oshawott too. Like I gave them all away to viewers that watched. So, I figured since everyone hung out and like was a part of that journey with me, I wanted everyone to have like, if they wanted to have a piece of that journey, with my trainer name and everything. But yeah. Yeah, and I gave the shiny Rotom to Blooddirk.
I don't know why I was worried about getting outsped. I'm like 16 levels higher than I'm supposed to be for this fight.
Level 96? What the hell? Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
He eventually destroyed God with beanbags, got 10 stars for maximum star rank, and with
I just love how my outfit just like constantly changes. Like I just kept putting on random shit just to amuse myself.
the final Pokedex task perfected, earning him a total of 124,250 research points, it was time for him to purchase every article of clothing and
he did
wrap
say that I
up
bought
the
the outfits,
world's
okay.
first Pokemon Legends Arceus 100% speedrun, clocking in at a whopping 175 hours, 25 minutes, and 0 seconds to complete the entire speedruns. With breaks and sleep included, this was a total of 477 hours, 41 minutes, and 6 seconds of real life time spent on this insane speedrun.
Yeah, it was 3 weeks. I expected it to be like 2 weeks playing 10 hours a day. Some days I didn't play exactly 10 hours, but roughly 10 hours a day. It was 3 weeks, 10 hours a day. I had to skip one day because I had a prior obligation. This was in January of 2023, and the Royal Rumble was in San Antonio. It's a WWE event. And I had already bought a ticket and planned to go with my friends on like at the end of January. So because it took longer than 2 weeks, I had to like skip one day to go to that. But then after that, I finished it out.
Massive shoutouts to halqery, who not only has the entire run on his YouTube channel, but was a massive help putting this video together. And while you're subscribing to him, be sure to subscribe to me for more Pokemon speedrunning content.
Be sure to subscribe to me too. But yeah, shout out to Pulse for that video. Go subscribe to Pulse. And yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll do another 100% run someday. If you like the video, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the things I did. If you have any questions about the 100% speedrun, also leave a comment. I'll be sure to answer it. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.